Okay, so I want to do a follow-up video now that the website is pretty much done. I spent a good day on this, probably about 8 hours. Okay, so I think you can give it your all, make it the best website it can be, but really it should, you should be able to wrap it up within 8 hours. You want to find that happy medium. You want it to look great and read well and everything and convert well because that's important, but you can't work on this thing for 2-3 weeks or you're just doing yourself a disservice. Because really, like Dan proved when he was, first doing this back in the day, his websites were awful. They read horribly. They had all kinds of grammar mistakes, and he was crushing it. So with that being said, I still think that you should put your best foot forward and try to make the best website you can in a short amount of time. So you land on here, you know right away where you're at. I got keywords. This is a heading, remember, so that's important to tell Google what the site's about. So I would just at least want a pool deck or pool decks in there. Then these are the main things people are searching for: repairs, resurfacing, remodeling, repainting. So right away they know they're in the right spot, and then Google knows what the site's about. I got a tracking number just like you guys did. I went through Dan's training, paid for it even, believe it or not. Same call tracking system you're using, same process. I went through Dan's training. Got the intro here. Now, if you don't have a business owner yet and you're making this just a result in advance and you're going to get the leads coming in like we teach and then hand it off to a business owner, then, obviously adjust it accordingly. But me doing this is kind of cool because no matter what city you are, what niche you're in, you can kind of use this as a template, okay? So if you were in carpet cleaning, we clean carpets. And then carpet cleaning, rug cleaning, tile cleaning, grout cleaning. You know what I mean? Like just model what I've done and apply it to your niche. You should be able to cruise through the next one and be like, hey man, I don't have to think about anything. Brad laid the formula out for me. I just plug and play. Okay? If you're a tow truck, broke down ? We tow cars. It doesn't have to. Sometimes the best copywriting is the least clever. And I think sometimes people follow, you guys came in following my stuff on job killing and lazy MLM, and that's so unique and different because when you're competing against a million people, you have to go above and beyond. It's so important to have a style and a unique voice and to get attention. Locally, you can get attention just by having a nice looking website. Okay, so it's not going to matter as much. And there's a fine line. It's very easy to go overboard because you don't know really who's going to be. See, with job killing, I know who's going to be finding my site and who I want to be finding and what I want them to think and all of this stuff. With this, I don't know which family of fours or which, family of two in Mesa is going to be calling this, right? So I'm not going to be dropping F-bombs and talking about sex and stuff like that. So don't take it too far, and when in doubt, choose clear over clever. Okay? So once you get a business owner, you can always come back and add any pictures that they have and say anything that applies to them. Pete told me, hey man, we've been on the news, we've got a perfect rating with the Better Business Bureau and all that stuff, but I don't link to any of that stuff because I don't want them leaving my site. I did all the work here. I don't want to post the original video, so I took a screenshot of it. I don't want to link to their Better Business Bureau listing because this is my site and I want the lead coming through my site, okay? So you got to be a little bit selfish here. You're the one doing all the work. There's no sense referring them off your site to some of their stuff. Okay? I think I have one thing bolded in the entire page, and that's pool deck resurfacing company. The main keyword I would say is pool deck resurfacing, plus or minus Phoenix. So that's bolded. Got some bullet points here. Use this as an opportunity, since most people do read bullet points, to A, differentiate myself from every other company out there, and B, add a little bit of humor, but not take it too far. Okay? Now, one of the things when you hire like landscaping and pool workers and house cleaners and stuff like that, my wife and I have been through this, out here in Phoenix, there's a lot of Mexicans. And people who build big companies want to keep their overhead as low as possible. So let's be honest, they hire Mexicans, sometimes probably illegally. And they probably don't pay them well, although it's probably good money compared to what they would make in Mexico. That's just the reality of the situation. So when we did our landscaping, we dropped like $30K, right? And the crew is out here working. It's a bunch of Mexicans. and you go out there to ask them a question and they just look at you with the blank face. And it's frustrating because you spend all this money and you feel like you have no say. You can't ask questions. You can't figure out what's going on because there's never anyone out here doing the work who speaks English. Or if they do, it's very choppy. So I'm going to ask him if he thinks that could at all be taken as like racist. And by the way, my wife, Stacy, who does billing, some of you have met her, she's half Mexican. So don't think for a second that I have anything against Mexicans. And, we have a very funny relationship because I didn't even know that her mom was Mexican until like 6 months. We were dating for like 6 months before I knew that. And then once I found out, I was just like dumbfounded because I didn't think she looked part Mexican at all, which is funny. And so now the joke is always like, yeah, let's go back to your family. There'll probably be some El Caminos in the yard, because just play off the stereotypes. So, believe me, you guys can't say anything about me talking about low-paid Mexicans. So, we won't charge you an arm and a leg or a left foot, okay? We won't make you feel guilty. See, I'm a perfectionist. So like when people are doing work for me, and I'm very nice, so I'm not like a jerk or standing out there with my arms crossed like a big shot looking over people and stuff, but I'm inside like peeking out the window like, ooh, I don't know, that tree's not perfectly centered. Like when I pay for something, I want it done perfectly, and pool decking is one of those things, man. You don't want the back line to be crooked. You don't want there to be one little crack. You don't want there to be a seam where there shouldn't be a seam. So, for those types that will come across that's what they're thinking, point that out. Another thing, a lot of times when you hire this work done, it's all fine and dandy until you pay the money and then half the project's done and then they go MIA. And they're hard to get a hold of. So harder than Obama to get a hold of, right? And then leave your back. This is another thing. When they did our pool, they would eat lunch and like throw their wrappers and stuff, leave their pop bottles and stuff just laid all over the yard. And it's ugly to look out at. So we won't leave your backyard looking like a tailgate party outside of University of Phoenix Stadium. Relevancy to Phoenix. Keyword rich, funny, relatable. Everyone in Phoenix will understand what this means. Okay, so try to find something in your bullet points that you can tie into your city. And then obviously just adjust it. If you're doing, and I hate to keep using the same one or two niches, but when you're filming videos, you're not very creative. You just go with what comes to your mind. If you're doing carpet cleaning, we're not going to clean your carpets and then walk all over it with dusty shoes. We wear, those shoe booties or whatever the heck they're called. Just, things like that. Send a crew to your house that doesn't speak English. Do the bait and switch. Charge you one thing and then, you need this, and this later. Think about what would frustrate you if you were purchasing this product or service, or do a Google search, go to some forums and see what frustrations people have, and then call those out and say that, that's not you. You don't do those things. And then, of course, when you go to team up with the business owner, you better make sure that they don't do those things. And that in turn will make them want to work with you that much more. You shouldn't be like desperate for them to take your leads. You should be like, I want you to sell yourself to me. I feel like I'm going to make this guy another $1 million a year. Okay. He better serve these people good or I don't want to give him the leads. And I know he does because of the passion and the depth that he went on when he talked about it and all the pictures he was so proud to share. Like he was legitimately so proud of his work. Okay, so you can read through this. Every time I put a phone number in, I want to make it easy and obvious for them to become a lead. Every time I put a phone number in, I selected it, hit the link button, created a link, and put TEL:1 602-833-0788. So I made it clickable every time. I did this too. This is something you can experiment with. Mention this website, Pool Deck Phoenix, and get the following goodies free. So I gave a bonus for saying this on the phone. Why do I want that to happen? Well, I want this business owner to know, I want him to know how valuable I am to his business. This is almost for my own ego. But it's not. I want him to be reminded because I feel like I'm going to just blow up his phone. and I want to show him how powerful my skill set is. Rather than, someone just calling and he might not really be sure where it's coming from. I mean, he might look at the end of the month and be like, well, business picked up a little bit, but you know how these business owners are. They think that it's all them. Oh, but I was already coming up. They already found my site, and then they price checked and then they found your site. They like to take credit for everything. So I like to kind of hedge that and make sure that I'm getting credit for everything. I want them to hear, hey man, all this business is not even coming from your site, it's coming from my site. Okay, so I offered a little bonus. Now obviously this is stuff that you'd probably get anyways, minus number 2. And this is where this is my idea. Okay, if you have a business owner, it's always a good idea, just so you don't have to come back and change work, to ask, to try to talk with them and come to an agreement before you start doing random things that they might not like. But this is my thing, and I'm going to tell them, look, we need a reason for people to act now. We need an incentive. This is just basic sales. If you're just like, have your website out there and there's no reason to take immediate action, then people will sit on it. They'll wait on it. But this is an incentive that at least gets them, holy crap, if I call and mention this website, I'm going to get 5% off. Now, I haven't ran this past the guy yet, but when I do, if he says anything about that, I'd be like, dude, when you do your estimates, charge 5% more, and then give them a coupon. And then this, I'm gonna literally instruct him. Here's what you're gonna do. If you don't really want to charge the exact same and give 5% off, okay, that's your call. You're the business owner. So charge 5% more so that you're still getting the exact same price out of the deal. This is just basic business. Everyone does this. And then when you go out and give them the estimate, I want you to literally, and if you need me to create it, I'll create it. I want you to literally give them a coupon code with an expiration date on it. And I want you to say, okay, here's your quote. It's going to be $6,592. But if you schedule this and make your down payment within the next 2 weeks, or whatever he decides is a good time, because he'll know, his turnaround time of his customers. Maybe they need a month to think it over. Maybe they need 2 days. I don't know. But I'm going to encourage him to do this, and to, when he gives the estimate, hand that homeowner a coupon code for 5% off, but it's got to be used within a certain amount of time. Just basic business skills, and no one does this. This way, he'll close a much greater percentage of the deals. I'm sure he does lots of estimates where people price shop, they get a few estimates, and then they don't go with him because he's not the cheapest. So it's just basic stuff to help conversions. Now, I'm helping myself and I'm helping him, okay? They have a showroom. He would have done this anyways, but it just looks like you're sweetening the pot a little bit, okay? So think about what you can do. Talk to your business owner, and don't be timid. If they're like, no, we don't do, you need to be like, listen, this is why people buy. Look at Target. They're always sending me coupons in the mail with an expiration date. Look at Starbucks. My wife's always getting, things on her Starbucks app. Free drink, but only today. So what's she do? Drive over to Starbucks and gets 3 drinks. So they got more business by giving that away and by making it time sensitive. You need to be the leader. And you need to be a consultant, not just an SEO person, not just a lead generation specialist. You need to be a business person, a thinker, a problem solver, an innovator. Help them take this to the next level. Don't just try to make their phone ring a little bit more and then sit back and cross your fingers. Help them see all the different areas where they can not only get more leads, but get a lot more sales, make more per sale, get more referrals, give them ideas on, okay, now you booked this guy. Now give them another coupon that says, hey, if you refer a friend within the next 3 months, we'll give you a free iPad or something, something like that. Hey, if it's a $7,000 job, I'm sure you can afford a $200 iPad or whatever it is. Okay? So read through this. This, again, every time I rinse and repeat one of these projects, I like to experiment a little bit. This, I put the quote form down a little bit more because I think the copy is engaging enough that people will come through and read it. You don't have to if you want the quote form right at the top. I put it on the left so that it would come up higher. Remember when Weebly breaks this down to an iPad, to a tablet, a small tablet, or a phone, they put the left column ahead of the right column. So if this was clear at the top, remember if you put it on the left, it will show up first. But that's kind of your preference. Dan doesn't think it matters. It probably doesn't. Adjusted this a little bit to make sense. Took his pictures, got in some of the main cities here, keywords, put this in as a slideshow that plays automatically. Okay. But Brad, what if I don't have that? Okay, then put a placeholder, put one stock photo of a carpet here or a family playing on the carpet if it's carpet cleaning, just to give you an idea. Put one picture relevant to the niche, one really high quality, nice picture. And then when you get a business owner, ask them for pictures and then come back and edit it. It's no big deal. Okay, then I like to do a frequently asked questions at the bottom. What all do you do? This is all about A, helping the visitor of the website, but B, more keywords. These are all keywords. When I went to Google Instant and I typed pool deck space A, pool deck space B, pool deck space C, I fielded ideas, okay? Design, plans, kits, ideas, consultation, new builds, accessories, repairs, touch-ups, bonding, coating, cool deck, concrete topping. I wouldn't have never had any of these words had I not gone and taken that 5 minutes to use Google Instant to tell me what people were searching for. Coatings, landscaping, drains, drain covers, drain channels. Never knew any of that stuff was stuff people were searching for. Trench drains, non-slip flooring, epoxy, expansion joints. I don't even know what half of this stuff is, but I know people are searching for it, so I put it in there. Overlay, sealer, repainting, resurfacing, remodeling, removing old deck. And people are searching for quotes, costs, pricing. What cities do you serve? Keyword. I typed in Phoenix, Arizona, metro area. And I went to a Wikipedia page and they listed all the cities in order of size. And you bet your ass I put every one of the main ones down that I knew he wanted to serve. And if you're not sure, well, what if I get a carpet cleaner and they don't want to go outside? Okay, no big deal. You can always come back and take cities out, but you always want to build this to get the most amount of leads. They can always turn down business. That's a good problem to have. No, I don't think it's worth it for me to come out there. That's fine. I'd rather get him the 3 leads that are searching from Eloy each month and have him decide if he wants the business or not, than not make his phone ring those 3 times and therefore not get him as many leads. Okay, again, more keywords. Okay, these are just different types of pool decking. You can have different things that I found from my due diligence that people are searching for. A little bit of humor. Okay, and people with pools know this. Hey, you run, decking gets slippery, you fall on your butt. And in the middle of summer, dude, there's so many times where I burnt the crap out of my feet thinking, oh, that thing's on the other side of the pool. I know it's hot. I'll just run over there real quick. And my goodness, out here in the Phoenix sun, you fry your feet. Okay, so these are concerns people have. Hey, I want to redo it. Is there a type of decking where my kids won't burn their feet? This is all stuff I thought through. How much is it going to cost? Okay, obviously we don't know that, but I know people are searching for cost, pricing, quote, estimate. So I wanted to get some of those keywords in here. A reminder, call this, mention this so that I'm always front and center on the business owner's mind. And get this, a reason to act right now. People are searching for warranty or guarantee, but I didn't want to back myself into a corner and say something that he didn't want, so I kind of said something without saying anything. I said basically, yeah, absolutely, we stand by our work, and we'll talk through it when you come over. Sometimes there's value in intentionally leaving stuff out. If you paint out the whole warranty here and they don't like it, they might never call. But if instead they're like, well, let's call and see what they're about, and you really wow them in person, maybe you don't have the best warranty and they still want to go with you because they liked what you had to say. So you always want to give yourself a chance to sell on the phone. What's the next step? Okay, ended with call to action. So no matter where they are on this page, they're always just like one click away from becoming a lead. One click away. Okay? Reminded them, hey, mention this. There's the bonus. Now at the bottom of the site, this is something I don't want you to get distracted with. I did throw up a little agency, like a 1-2 page agency site. This is something that I want you guys doing eventually. And this is something that a lot of what we talk about at Las Vegas Reload this summer is going to be about this, and we're going to help you guys do some stuff and get a lot of this set up. So if I were you, I would not do this now. Because there's a lot that goes, it's got to be the right brand. It's got to be the right domain. It's got to be the right look and feel. And I see a lot of people trying to do this, which I applaud because, dude, if this is 100% of what I was doing and I wasn't so busy with job killing, I would have done this a long time ago because I want the business coming to me. And you are going to have people, this guy asked, hey, cool, what's your website? And I was like, well, I have 100 websites. Don't worry about it. But it is good. People will ask. You don't have to have a website. Dan never had one. But it makes it easier because people will ask, and then you could highlight some of your work, and then, of course, do this exact process for your agency site, and then people will come to you, which is what I want. I don't want to be out there prospecting and cold calling and selling and meeting people at Starbucks. That's not my thing. So you better believe I want people finding me who have already raised their hand, who are interested. So it's a great thing to do. It's just that I don't really want until you get all of the details and all of the thought, and all of the help, professional pictures, how to make a great theme that looks the part, how to think about a unique brand, copywriting that's not cliche, all that stuff, how to run targeted Facebook ads that we're going to be covering in Vegas. I would rather have you kind of do it there with us and get it right as opposed to wasting time and money, because trust me, I've made tons of sites like this in the past and I never get them right, and I rush it, and then I was like, oh shoot, I shouldn't have chosen that domain or whatever. And so yeah, I don't want you to really get distracted with that. The only other thing, I'm sorry this video is a little bit longer, is let's go to pages. Okay, this is important. Go to advanced. I want to make sure you really think through your title tags and maybe even your descriptions. I want you to get these right. So again, this is cool. So think about what your domain is, knowing that Weebly by default is going to put the name that you put up here. So in this case, it'll put Pool Deck Phoenix and then a dash for the homepage anyways, and then whatever you put right here. So I had to really think through this. I think, okay, well, Pool Deck and Phoenix are all words that are very important that I want in there. And they're already mentioned once. So technically you would not have to mention a word more than once. So it's going to be Pool Deck Phoenix dash. And then I put Pool Deck Repair, comma, resurfacing AZ. Okay. The reason for this, I wouldn't have had to put Pool Deck again, but I just thought it read a little bit better. So Pool Deck Repair and Pool Deck Resurfacing are the main search terms. So that's kind of the main two that I want the homepage to rank for. I did have comma Phoenix AZ, but then I was like, Phoenix is already in the domain and it's going to be Pool Deck Phoenix. It's already mentioned once. So and this is getting pretty long because Pool Deck Phoenix dash and then all of this is pretty long and it might get chopped off. So I wanted to make it as short as possible. Notice I put a comma instead of and I didn't put Pool Deck Resurfacing because it would have stretched off the search results. So I wanted to keep it as short and succinct as possible while still getting repair and resurfacing in there. And now I have Phoenix in there once and AZ in there once. Okay, so let's see what it looks like now that it's indexed. I should just search for the domain. Where is it? Okay, let's make this easy on myself. Site. Okay, so you can see, 3 results are indexed. Here are the titles and the descriptions. So this is why this stuff is important. It tells Google what it's about, but it also tells the search engine user who will be searching for this and coming across your listing, think about what they'll see and what they're most likely to click on. Okay, so it's like a mini advertisement, but it's also important to get your main keywords first in the title and then in the description. So here's my homepage. Like I said, Weebly automatically does whatever you put right here. That's what it'll put first for the homepage. Then it'll put a dash, and then whatever you put right here under the title. So Pool Deck Phoenix dash Pool Deck Repair Resurfacing AZ. See how it all fits? None of it got cut off. but I couldn't have gone much longer than that because it would have got cut off. And then you think about what I want to be found for. I want to be found for pool deck repair. I want to be found for pool deck resurfacing. I want to be found for pool deck repair and resurfacing if they add Phoenix, and if they add Phoenix AZ. And I want Google to know that the site is all about Phoenix, Arizona. So I got Phoenix and AZ in there. So that kind of gives me a geo optimization, and then I got the keyword optimization. And the title's only so long. It's not realistic that you're going to be able to stuff 4 or 5 different keywords in there. You got to go for your biggest 1 or 2, optimize perfectly for them, and then count on the strength of the rest of the website, the rest of the homepage, or adding internal pages to optimize for the other terms that you want to rank for. Okay, then the description. I want it to be consistent. I want the visitor to know exactly what we do, and I still want to optimize it for SEO. We do pool decks, so I thought, geez, why not put, that's such a great, just short, sweet, straightforward kind of intro to the site. Why don't I just use that? So I did, we do pool decks, repairs, resurfacing, remodeling, repainting. And then I did Phoenix, Arizona metro area. So it's like a mini advertisement, right? And so even if they don't click through, they can just look at this and go, okay, we do pool decks, repairs, and they're thinking, I want a crack repaired. So right away, they're like, oh, well, this is the place for me. Or I want it resurfaced. Okay, this is what I need. Phoenix, Arizona metro area. I'm in Glendale. That probably applies to me. Cool. Here's their number. So they could literally call that without even clicking through to the site. I typically don't like to put phone numbers in here because I think it's kind of a waste of space. This is so important for your keywords. But I don't mind putting them in here. Okay? Now, about page. Let's go back, about. Same thing. Let's go to advanced. Same thing, okay? Added a title and a description. Here's what I put. Now, with the inner pages, they put a dash site name, so whatever you have here, after what you put here. So the home page is flip-flopped, and then every inner page, that's how it works, okay? So I thought to myself, what could I put? And I don't like to be redundant because the home page is already optimized for these terms. So I don't really need to optimize again for repair and resurfacing because that's what the home page is optimized for. So I just kind of wanted to get some more keywords in there that I didn't really cover yet. So I said AZ, the state abbreviation. Why not type out Arizona, knowing that Phoenix was already going to be in there? So I used that as an opportunity to type out Arizona. It's an about page, so I put about Arizona's. So, it's still got to be relevant to the page. You don't just stuff in whatever you want and then talk about something completely different on the page. But about Arizona's top. So I figured some people might search for top, best, number 1. Okay, so I got that in there. And then company is something that I hadn't mentioned yet that I know people are searching for. They're looking for pool deck companies, pool deck resurfacing companies. Okay, they're looking for words like pool deck services, pool deck service provider. So in the description, again, not needing to say this exact stuff, again, let's use some variation of it. So opportunity to enter Phoenix again. This is our story. Okay, Phoenix's premier pool deck service provider. Notice how I almost didn't even use complete sentences because I want to keep it short, sweet, tell the visitor what we're about, get the keywords in, use variation, but not have this drag on and on. Okay, contact, same thing. It's going to put a dash, site title, contact us today. There's not, sometimes you just got to do the right thing. Contact page isn't really going to be optimized for anything, but I want Google to know we have an about page, we have a contact page, which probably makes you look a little bit more legit, as opposed to, I was just going to make a home page, and I was like, you know what, I better at least put an about and a contact. Reach us 7 days a week. Again, little mini advertisement, call us, or fill out the form for a free estimate. Free estimate, free quote. These are things people are searching for. So a little bit of optimization in all of those, but an emphasis on variations, keeping it short and sweet, making it read well, letting the user know that they're in the right spot, and even a call to action. Hey, call us or get a free quote. Okay? So I would say that's very important. And then, of course, you can come out and look at the site, read through it, use it to model yours. You can look at what I did for my about page. And again, if you don't have a business owner yet, you don't put specifics in, you keep it general. and then you come back and add relevant pictures and relevant things about the owner that you're working with. But this is what I did. Our story on the About page, I put the form on the left, so if you're doing this on mobile, this is going to come up first, and then this is going to be below it. Notice that I took the time, like, watch this. Notice that I took the time to make this formatted well, okay? There's a spacer thing in here, or I went to, if you click on this and go to form options and then spacing, you can adjust the margin above and below this form. Well, the first time I published it, I didn't play with that, and then this was tucked up right under this, which didn't look very well on a mobile phone. So I was like, okay, you know, this has some space here. Let's make sure that there's some space here to make it look a little bit better. So I added I adjusted margins below this box to like 50 or something like that, so that I got that spacing. Okay, and same thing with, you know, about contact. I flipped it the other way. I have, because I'd rather have them call anyways, so I have call us first. Notice, took the opportunity to do another keyword that I didn't really optimize for anywhere else, but I know people are searching for, this contractors term in Phoenix, Arizona, and I just bolded it once, okay? Remember, I don't bold it. I try not to bold any more than once per page, unless it really comes down to a formatting thing, and like I'm listing their services on the homepage, I might bold, you know, like I have another case study where I'll show you where I did that. But typically I just try to bold one main keyword per page. Again, call to action, consistent. Hey, mention this, and here's what you're going to get. More keywords in there, little social proof. I was lucky enough that he had that picture and he was on the news. And then did the spacing here. I had to add a space element under that so that it left enough room so it looked nice. So I say, call us, or see how that picks up where that left off. I know that this is going to be above this because of the way or request a free estimate, and then I got the form there. Okay, that's all there is to it. It's basically a one-page site with an about and a contact page slapped on that's like a paragraph long, and it's just you know, nicely written, and it flows, and I think it covers almost all the keywords. You'll always find more as you go, and that's fine. You can go back and add them. It's formatted nicely. I've spent a lot of time making sure it looked nice. I guess I do have bold here just to separate the questions. So sometimes when you need to for formatting, sure, if it's truly for formatting. But what I don't want to see is you bolding pool deck 100 times on the page, because that probably won't get you in trouble, but it's overkill, and I think it might take your quality score down a little bit. So you don't want to just be bolding a bunch of keywords just to bold a bunch of keywords, okay? Make the site for the end user, make it for the reader, make it look nice, make it flow, make sure when you, okay, again, this. So I had to play around with some spacing stuff here because it looks one way here, but I want it to look good on all devices. So when I crunch it down and then I come out and look at it, I was like, okay, I need a little bit of space here. And I was like, okay, I need a little bit of space here. And I need a little bit of space here. So I had to add some spacing elements under there so that when it shrunk down, it wasn't just slammed up against each other. Okay? These are the little things that I do think, you know, play into conversion a little bit. It's not the 90%, it's definitely more the 10%. But if you can do this in, you know, with an extra 5 or 10 minutes, I'd rather have you make it look good. Okay? When you put a picture to the left of something, you got to play with the text so that the text ends about where the picture does, and then you got to do a new text paragraph below it to make it look like this. Because if I would have had this picking up right under here, then it would have kept it in 2 columns, and you would just had a bunch of blank space under here. So, you know, it's just playing around and getting the format nice, making sure your keywords are in there, making sure it flows well. In this instance, I did not link out to any other site. I didn't even link into an internal page because I don't really have any internal pages. I have an about and a contact, but that's going to be linked to right here. And then as we get this going, I'll decide if I need to add more keywords into the homepage, or if there's a keyword that's going to be worth my time to add an internal page for. I know that he does things beyond pool deck, but pool deck is the main thing. I know that he does pavers, sidewalks, driveways, cement, stuff like that. And then at that point in time, I like to start small and dominate, you know, the one thing, the most important thing that's going to have the biggest impact. And then from there, I'll decide what makes sense. I'll do the due diligence and say, you know what, there's just not that many keywords, and I think it would be okay going under this umbrella. And maybe I'll add a page for, you know, concrete pouring or pavers, driveways, things like that. Even though it's on a pool decking site, most of these guys that do this stuff, they do concrete, they do pavers, like driveways and sidewalks, they do barbecue stuff, and they do pools. So it's not like it doesn't fit the theme, even though it's all pool deck. Okay, so that's just a little bit about my site. On-page optimization, little thought process behind copywriting, calls to action, and stuff like that. I think the content found that happy medium where it's a lot more laid back and conversational and fun than 99.9% of sites out there, but I don't think I crossed any lines and made it to where I might offend someone or anything like that. And I didn't put too much thought into it to where I worked on this for a week or anything. This is just one day, okay? Web design, adding all the content, formatting, getting it to where it reads and looks what I think is about as close to perfect as I want to get. That took me about a solid, 8 hours. Okay? And that's it. By the way, when I published this, so I published it, and it took, I didn't add the about or I'll go over a timeline in another video. So it was literally just one page for the first 3-4 days, and it didn't even have an about and contact, and then I added that later thinking maybe I needed it, or maybe even just to get it indexed, because it was not getting indexed. And then I think it took 3 or 4 days to get indexed, and then immediately, it's kind of interesting, just basically this one page is indexed. And the first day it indexed, it was on page 3. It was like spot number 24, so kind of middle of page 3 for the main keyword. All right, so that's definitely a good sign that Google likes the site, and it's a niche that's, like I talked about, not like so cutthroat that you can't compete. If you got a one-page website that's brand new and you hit publish, and 3 days later it's indexed and you're on page 3, middle of page 3 for the main keyword, that's a really good sign. All right, so that's it for this video. Talk to you in the next one. Peace.